Man, it's your big brother K-Rino. Um, we gotta be real careful when we deal with people who have made mistakes and they are sincerely trying to move on from those mistakes and trying to make the life corrections necessary to be better. We have a tendency to not let people forget their past or move on from their past when they're trying to. It's different if you got somebody who just keeps on messing up. You keep on being just that type of person, and it's like, okay, well, you got to separate yourself or whatever the case might be. But a lot of times, man, people will make one mistake. People will do one thing wrong and it will vilify them for the rest of their life. And the public is unforgiving because, in my opinion, the public has been trained to be unforgiving because the media is unforgiving in situations where it relates to maybe if it's somebody that's well known or even if it's a news story, just somebody, on the news, something happened locally. So the court of public opinion cast down the verdict that was cast down by the media, and then that person, um, just to use it metaphorically, you can never do your time. When you do your time, and it's like that in real life. When somebody goes to prison or gets convicted of a crime, they come out and they really are of that percentage of people who have rehab and like, man, I ain't doing that no more. I'm done. I'm out of that. Once people find out, oh man, he got convicted. He's a felon, man. Oh, he went to prison one time. You know, it changes the whole view of you without knowing the context of how you got in that situation in the first place and not knowing you as a person. So you watch media uh, do this in such a sinister way forever and ever. We've seen this for the longest. It doesn't matter what a person does, even in the person's moment of, um, of good news and happiness, they'll find a way to say, well, he blah 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 blah. But back in 1998, he was convicted, and or back in 2011, he was charged with. They got to always throw that in, and if it's a situation where it's been 5, 10, 15, 20 years incident free with that person, why are you still bringing up something as if this person is a repetitive offender and they have not been in any type of situation for years and years and years? This is a tactic used in order to keep the image of a person in the mud in the eyes of the public. And a person never gets a second chance in the so-called land of second chances. So even though you might have your freedom, you've obtained your freedom, and hey man, you can walk around, you can do the things that incarcerated people may not be able to do, but you're never free from that finger pointing. You're never free from that speculation. You're never free from that continuous wave of re-mentioning and revitalizing whatever it is, the mistake that you made. So we have to be careful as individuals that we can control. We can't control what the media is going to do, but we can control what we do in order to make sure that we don't contribute to that kind of atmosphere as it relates to other people, because you might be the one to make the mistake tomorrow. And if you know, and the people close to you know, that, oh, no, he not that type of person, she not that type of person, she just messed up, things was bad, and she went shoplifted that one time just to get something to eat, or she really needed some clothes that day, things was bad, and you stepped outside of your character and did something that you regret doing. A person with good character, you ain't got to beat them up for the rest of their life behind a mistake they made. They'll handle that on their own because they know that what they did was not really who they are, and no one feels bad more. No one feels worse about it than they do. If you got that kind of if you're that type of person, and that's what I mean. We like to vilify and condemn good people. And it's funny how the people who are intentionally causing the corruption, intentionally destroying the world, they're the main ones. The sickest ones of all are the ones condemning people who are not like them. Those are the ones who are calling the shots, overly judgmental, self-righteous, arrogant, uh, devil-minded individuals. They are the ones who are really casting those stones against people for making one mistake. So again, be careful with that. Be careful with that, because even if it's not you, it could be your loved one. It could be your son or your daughter, or somebody that you really care about. And you feel defenseless when you're like, man, I know this person. Yeah, they did it, but that's not who they are. Or even worse, if they're accused of doing something that they didn't do, which is worse. And now, even after the smoke clears, you may have done some time for something you didn't do, or got accused, or had to go through a big thing behind something you didn't do, and people are still looking at you like you did it because of all of the false hype, all of the hype that was surrounded a false scenario. So don't be that kind of person that never lets a person live down